Barak Yahweh, Barak Yahweh Shah, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Bahashadash. All praises, honor, glory, love, respect, faith, and power, and trust, and all credit to my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and my Heavenly Big Brother, Yahweh Shah. Thank you so much for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. Double honors to your apostles and elders and bishops of GMS, Great Millstone, who I learned from, and all the men scattered all over the world, teaching His truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Trying to put a spiritual bug in you Hebrew Israelites' ears, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and you speckled birds. And what is a speckled bird? That'd be a Hebrew Israelite that look like some of the heathen nations, like for example, a Hebrew Israelite that look like a so-called white person or so-called Chinese person, etc., etc. Got some videos lined up about the food, with the food being got a parasite in it, or food being tainted with poison or chemicals, and food being destroyed by heat domes and natural disasters. But no. The food ain't getting no funding from the government. The food being cut off from food lines being at high demand. From emergency, what they call it, Trump declares national emergency, creating a food crisis. Yeah, so on some food supply, yeah, it's dwindling. Yeah, I'm gonna play these videos. I'm gonna get into the scripture of my best ability. Say whatever I gotta say. Say whatever I have to say through the spirit, the power of Yahweh Shema Shah, the Holy Spirit, the Kurhat Kadash, the Lord willing be on me. Let's get it.
Right now, health officials here inside the United States are investigating an explosive illness, and we'll address what this illness is in a moment. But the reason why they're investigating this is because they say there is no link. And this could be very concerning, especially as we are headed into the 4th of July weekend. I want to break down what's going on and how this could impact you, but also what health officials are saying we can do to prevent this. Look at this right here. It says, mystery parasite leaves Americans battling explosive illness as the CDC
Goddamn explosive diarrhea
investigates. It says, health officials investigate multi-state clusters, but say there's no evidence of a single outbreak linking all cases. Okay. What exactly is...
But if there's no cases, then I thought there were cases. They said, well, whatever.
Is this explosive illness? Well, look at this. It says explosive diarrhea parasite sickens 170 in Michigan.
Okay, well, yeah, all right.
Hospitalizes at least 20 nationwide. It says, okay, and I want to be very clear on this. This is impacting 17 states so far. Here are the states. It includes Alaska, Colorado, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Those are the states as of today. Okay? I want to show you how many we're seeing though. Look at this right here. It says, so the highest ones over here. Michigan, 150 plus cases. Okay, you can see that. New York, between 31 and 80 cases. We got Illinois between 11 and 30. We also have Texas between 11 and 30. We got Alaska between 1 and 10. Colorado 1 and 10. Louisiana 1 and 10. Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Ohio, and Wisconsin, all between 1 and 10 cases. Okay, so what is this? Well, let's get right down to it, okay? I want to read a little of this to you. It says right here, okay, just give you an idea about what's happening. It says, you may want to be extra cautious with your fresh fruit and veggie platter this holiday weekend. An explosive diarrhea-causing parasite is behind a surge of summer food poisoning cases right before Independence Day. Okay, so cyclosporiasis, a stomach-churning illness caused by a parasite often found on produce, has sickened hundreds across more than 17 U.S. states since May 1st. Okay, now here's the concern. Now, pretty much nobody's died because of this. Okay, it's explosive diarrhea. This is something you want to stay close to the bathroom. Don't want to go anywhere. But this is the reason why I bring it to your attention. Even though nobody's died as a result, there's been over 20 people that has been hospitalized. Okay? The reason they're being hospitalized is because they can't control this. And if you are having explosive diarrhea, you can't keep anything in. The problem here is that you could become severely dehydrated. So you have this explosive illness at the same time on the East Coast. And again, I bring this up because that's where the cases are at. All right? So I'll show you again. This is the majority of the East Coast. Well, here's the problem. This is also where we're experiencing some heat, where we're seeing some record high temperatures, and we're going to see it, go into Saturday, Sunday as well. Well, if people are already becoming dehydrated as a result of this explosive diarrhea, and then you factor in some insane amounts of heat, it only makes matters worse. This is why health officials are stating that if you are struggling, you can't keep anything down, you can't stay hydrated, you're feeling weak, fatigued, maybe come into the emergency room because you might need an IV or something like that, or at least just be monitored. Okay. So let me read a little bit more of this to you. Okay. It says the culprit is Cyclospora. It's a microscopic parasite known to cause cyclosporiasis. All right. Now, the hallmark symptom of the infection is watery, often explosive diarrhea that can last for weeks or even months if left untreated. Nobody would want to be sitting in a bathroom for weeks or a month. That would be terrifying. It would be troubling. It says other symptoms include severe abdominal cramping, bloating, nausea, fatigue, and significant weight loss. Okay? It says the official outbreak season for the parasite runs from May 1st through August 31st, a window where warmer temperatures historically coincide with a spike in infections, according to the CDC. Okay, so here's the problem. They're saying this parasite normally lives on fruits and vegetables, which is one of the reasons why they're recommending you should wash your fruits and vegetables before you consume them. Whether it's even a watermelon, go ahead, rinse off the outside, okay? Even if it's an orange, again, rinse off the peel. Rinse it off before you start peeling it off with your hands, and then you start grabbing the fruit inside, okay? The same thing with something like a pineapple. They say do the same thing. Cucumbers, clean those as well. Carrots, yeah, a lot of times people don't peel those, so you just eat them, just whole. Clean them, okay? Make sure you clean your fruits and vegetables this 4th of July weekend so that you do not get this explosive illness, okay? I can tell you right now, not from personal experience, but I can tell you this would be a devastating weekend if you get this explosive.
Yeah, it's already devastating for a lot of folk and looking pretty pitiful. You got parachuters falling, hitting hard, crashing into shit. You got daggone objects falling from a stage, almost killing people. What else happening? Hailstorms plaguing the shit out of Mount Rushmore. And some monkey ass proud nigga talking about, I'm still gonna go out there and talk my shit. Shit. I don't know what else is going on. I mean, there's a whole lot of shit going on in America during this glorious time of the American history year. What the fuck ever. Anyway.
Explosive illness this weekend, and it lasts for the next month? Yeah, I'd feel bad. I'd feel bad for anybody that gets this. So, do yourself a favor.
Alright, well, there's pestilence in your vegetables and in your fruit. Ain't that a damn shame? And it ain't like nothing new, because, we had salmonella. That shit's inside, not just outside. This stuff talking about what's outside, but salmonella, that shit is inside. And I think that's caused because of the water. I don't know. But, hey, man, that pestilence plaguing your food, that's supposed to keep you healthy. But shit, now it's getting you sick and you gotta spend time going to the toilet. Let's get to the next one. Shit.
Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Rick Motec has.
We in the West have not heard as much, but for decades, a lot of babies suffered kidney failure and death in China for baby food contaminated with melamine on purpose for money, just for money. And so where America stands versus Europe, where the farmers are in rebellion because these corporations pushed by the WEF and the UN and the WHO, we're going to help you. You have to stop eating meat. It's bad for you. You can only eat meat when we tell you. They literally did that during COVID in France. 500 grams a week. I forget. I read about it in the book. But they actually they passed laws in you can't eat meat. You can only eat so much. Now imagine the higher ups are still eating their big steaks, But the real reason I raise Europe is that we're already way ahead of Europe. We're already way ahead of Europe in our consolidation. We go through drive-thrus. We eat processed food. Europeans, you go to France, they really like their escargot. They really like their bread. They really have really great food if you go there. Ireland, they really value their food supply, having lived through a horrible experience of a famine. The Netherlands, one of the front lines of the fight, people don't realize that there was a famine inflicted deliberately on the Dutch people by the Nazis, a blockade. It was horrific. And that's why the Netherlands became the largest food producers perhaps in the world per acre. And they're now being told that they're destroying the planet, so they have to stop producing food. It'll be produced somewhere else, presumably with similar or worse environmental costs. America's already way ahead of them. We don't really value our traditional foods the same way as like the Italians and their pasta. They pass laws against even calling it the wrong thing, We want cheap and fast. We want processed. We don't care where it comes from. Just put it in my mouth so I can go consume, work, whatever. And that's the complacency that has led to a dependency on food that is less nutritious than our grandparents had and that we used to have in our backyards. And one day we're going to wake up and go, wait a minute, when did I become so totally dependent on this corporate monopoly? Because all those other industries that you mentioned, when we talk about fertilizer, seeds, equipment manufacturers, all of those industries are either monopolies or oligopolies. That's what's destroying the farmers. So when we bail out our commercial farmers in America, we're literally just using them as a conduit to give money to Dow and Monsanto and other companies. They're not closing up. They're not selling up their multi-generational farms because they always get paid or they don't sell their product. When you're a farmer, you're bound to commodities markets. And so the entire modern conventional agricultural industrial system is flawed. It's not sustainable. It's in its death throes. That's what we're seeing right now. So people will become aware of this, whether they like it or not. And they'll either see it in food shortages or food inflation.
But see, that's what happens when you got wicked rulers ruling the world, and or America. But Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people. Yep. Shit, and some of his people that he's destroying is the farmers. And when you're destroying them, hey, you're destroying many other people. Shit, that eat the food that the farmers grow.
We're both.
And I think, and so I want to get to that. I'll bring up your book, because right here. It's called The Coming Food Crisis, How Corporations, Activists, and Climate Alarmists Are Waging War on Farmers. So I want to get to that and kind of dig into some of the information surrounding that. But before we jump into that, though, if you look at Europe, you mentioned Europe. One of the big differences that you'll see between America and Europe that really proves the point you're making, how far, I guess, ahead we are in this or how far behind we are in health, is that so many of the pesticides, atrazine, glyphosate, et cetera, that they use here, in many European countries, they were never even introduced. Like they looked at the studies at the very beginning and said, there's no way we're going to put these on our food for our people. And so I think if you look at, you have these giant corporations, which obviously have an immense amount of control over America. But I think that the real crux of the matter comes down to the regulatory agencies. And it's this collusion of the FDA, the USDA, the EPA. It's these organizations that are supposed to be protecting the American people that are actually just protecting the corporations. You look at what happened with the forever chemicals with DuPont, right, with Teflon. Where one of the more famous cases where they knew that they were poisoning people, they knew that they were killing and poisoning their own.
And like once again, destroying the people. Unwise king destroys the people, and they just destroying the farmers, but destroying the citizens from putting poison in the food, putting shit in there to make a filler, and saying it's good for you. Goodness fucking gracious, I hate this world.
Workers in the factory lines, and they were dumping it into the waterways. They knew all this stuff that they were doing, yet they kept on doing it. And then they paid some fines.
It's all, and I'll stop the video 4 minutes, 41 seconds. I'll praise you about Shemal Shah. The body about Shemal Shah. I wanted to say is that all this is under the watch and authority of Esau, the so-called white man. But he's not white, he's red, and he's a baby dick sucking, foreskin eating, Jewish faggot nigger. Yep. They're the ones controlling the elite of that nation of Edom. They control everything. The food, and it just everything, the banks, everything, just say everything. But I'm just sticking to the topic of food and chemicals, and look where they dumping all the chemicals in the food. If they want to try to dispose of something, they like, let's just put it in the food. Yeah, and let's see how the people gonna react to it, especially our own shit.
And they kept on doing it.
But mainly they doing this on you Israelites.
And you could see through that process, though, that it was the collusion with EPA and some of these other agencies that in many ways turned a blind eye. And so I think that that's one of the big things that is leading to the situation that we're in, is that there is this, it's almost like you could call it fascism, right? It's this merger of the state and the private companies, that these corporations, and without even getting into Big Pharma or any of those things.
Yeah, Big Pharma play a part of this too. So when you get sick of all this food is toxic, you get sick of it, Big Pharma steps in and say, here's a cure, or no, not a cure, pardon me, Slocking, a treatment. Here's a treatment for your aches and pains. Yeah, that's going to bring more aches and pains later on down the road.
I think it's a very serious thing facing our country.
Well, it is, and I think that at root, there's a fine line between a private-public partnership and how you just define fascism. I actually, my whole life, have defined fascism that way. When you have, when corporations and or industry, we should say, perhaps, and government are walking in lockstep and control us. And that is what we're seeing. And it tends to permeate all institutions. In other words, it can happen in a capitalist or a socialist society. We're not going to just, embrace Marxism and fix these problems. As Wendell Berry has pointed out, the socialists did a great job polluting their environment, too. And so when we get to really looking at how we solve for these problems, these are huge problems. We didn't get here overnight. And so people, shouldn't give up or be daunted by the challenge. In fact, just the opposite. We should be emboldened as our eyes are open to the need to reverse this. This could happen in any cultures, but our modern technologies have enabled a dependency that was unimaginable in the past. In fact, in the past, I sometimes say, people talk about preppers in a derogatory or pejorative way. And to me, that's silly. My family, I'm seventh generation here in Vermont, and they were subsistence farmers. They were preppers. They stored months worth of food. It's common sense. Either the world collapses and you're better off, or the world doesn't collapse and you're better off. Everybody should be a prepper. And so it's a win-win, and that's why I think there's room for everybody at this table. I also, I work within the MAHA organization. It's very exciting to see Democrats and Republicans coming together on these issues. Republicans, conservatives waking up more to the importance of their food supplies and their farmers, and Democrats who may already be in that area joining us. So there are so many positives.
All right, I'm gonna stop right there. You get the point. Let's get to the next one. Jimmy Dore Show.
So I saw this on the Twitters, and it's about mayonnaise. Now, I don't eat mayonnaise from the store anymore. I actually do. It's avocado oil mayonnaise. So if you eat the other mayonnaise, you're getting poisoned. And that's what causes Alzheimer's. That's what. Well, let me play this and we'll talk about it. Let's play this. Ready? Shall we play this? Let's play it.
Genetically modified mayonnaise. Household staple Hellmann's now requires a bioengineered label on its jars because of how the soybean oil inside the mayo is made.
You're putting
So as soybean oil, not good. Soybean oil is one of the oils you're not supposed to. It's not good. Causes inflammation. It breaks the blood-brain barrier. Causes inflammation. It's basically poison. Just like corn oil. Just like soybean oil. Just like, what is that? The palm oil? The stuff they put in everything? The stuff that was invented as an industrial lubricant is now ubiquitous in your food. Not just high fructose corn syrup, which they put in your bread. But they got...
And that was something that, who the world look at as the crazy peanut guy, George Washington Carver, or Jake. Hey, that's how they show him as known as the peanut guy, but he was an inventor. And he was a chemist. He was talking about he was dealing with soybeans. He said, we don't supposed to eat that shit. Basically, we don't supposed to eat that shit. But guess what? Esau says, nah, we're going to eat that shit. Or you going to eat that shit. Shit. Yeah.
all these seed oils, which are, but it's even worse than that. It's even worse than that. That's why. Let me start this from the beginning. It's even worse than just seed oils. Watch this.
Genetically modified mayonnaise. Household
Why does Zoo keep throwing up them 360s all the time?
staple Hellmann's now requires
I guess he's part of the team too. Yeah.
a bioengineered label on its jars because of how the soybean oil.
By the way, these are the same people who told you to take the mRNA vaccine.
Huh.
Same people.
Yeah.
Same people approved this. The FDA approved this. Same people.
The same people gonna be approving them the microchips, implantable microchip implants. I'm sorry, I'm eating my bioengineered crackers, and they are, and that's all that I can afford. But what I'm trying to say, yeah, they approving them RFID microchip implants, the mark of the beast, and they're gonna be doing that soon.
inside the mayo is made.
You're putting
Oh yeah, they did with the brain chip. That's right, Neuralink. So yeah.
lab goop on your food and calling it mayo. Hellman starts as modified cornstarch, injected with bacterial genes to survive heavy glyphosate spraying. Then comes the chemical.
You got glyphosate in there? Oh my God. How does it start off? Modified corn.
Food and calling it mayo. Hellman starts as modified cornstarch.
Modified cornstarch. Now, cornstarch, you know, is also modified because it's not, they've effed with the genes inside corn so they can withstand poison that they spray on it.
Oh no, it's withstanding the what's that shit? Withstand the animals or the bugs. It's pesticide, right? Or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They got it in there.
That's poison being glyphosate. So it's modified cornstarch, and then what do?
Injected with bacterial genes to
And they inject it with bacterial genes to survive.
heavy glyphosate
Right?
spraying.
That's how they make corn. They genetically modified their corn, almost all the corn you eat. You think you're eating healthy. I'm eating corn. It's a vegetable. How could that be bad? Well, it's because they've modified the genes to withstand cancer-causing chemicals that they spray it with, called glyphosate.
Then comes the chemical load. 25% of the jar is GMO rapeseed, preserved with calcium.
It's rape. Well, what could be bad about something called rape seed?
I think he said red seed.
It's rape.
It's like it matters anyway, cause goddamn.
What could be bad about something called rape seed?
Why
Why don't they just call it sodomy seed?
Disodium EDTA before it's thickened with xanthan.
And then disodium EDTA. Let me ask Grok, what exactly is disodium EDTA? Let's see what Grok says. It's thinking about my request. It is also known as disodium. I can't say that word. It is a disodium salt form. It's widely used synthetic chelating agent. It appears as a white crystalline solid that is highly soluble in water. It functions as a hexadentate ligand, binding strongly to metal ions through its nitrogen. So it promotes microbial growth, causing cloudiness, discoloration, or instability in products. No. It sequesters or binds to trace metal ions that can otherwise cause problems. Okay. It's commonly used in cosmetics, shampoos, soaps, creams, lotions, eye makeup. Prevents spoilage, maintains clarity, and enhances stability. In food and beverages, it binds metals that could affect color, flavor, or shelf life. Pharmaceuticals and medicine, it's in there.
Man, we gotta get out of here, bro. No flesh should be saved, man. Goodness gracious, bro. And I know damn well they put this shit in damn anything. They ain't gotta put that shit on no label. But man, we gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
There too. It's also used in industrial applications for water treatment, detergents, cleaning products, textiles, paper productions, and analytical chemistry. Wow. It's generally recognized as safe. That's what they say.
That's what they put in your food. Shit.
For its intended use in low concentrations. It has low acute toxicity, a low hazard rating. Really? But it's a hazard? Well, its hazard rating is low. High doses
just put a tad bit in there. You won't notice the difference.
Or ingestion of concentrated forms can cause irritation. Yeah, okay. It's stable under normal conditions, but can react with strong oxidizers.
All right, let's just stop right here. If you want to watch the rest of the video, be my guest. They go to title, they go to channel. Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 13. And the Lord Yahweh said, even thou shalt the children of Israel, talking about you so-called blacks, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, speckled birds that look like heathens, like look like Jimmy Dore, eat their defiled breads amongst the Gentiles, whither I will drive them. So this is punishment for you Israelites, bro. Mostly in America, but hey, a lot of these other countries are getting down with the same shit the Americans are eating. Shit. Soon gonna be eating bugs. Well, I don't know about me saying we, but I hope and pray the Lord have us the elect be eating. I hope I'm part of the elect. You better hope so too, that we'll be eating okay, decent food instead of this shit that they have. No more of this shit. Damn. And fuck the hell. We keep eating this shit too long. Hell, the hell with that damn parasite that gives you bubble guts. We'll get bubble guts from just eating this shit. And our bubble guts won't never stop because our guts are all jacked up because all this we'll have genetically modified guts. What we do, we got some GMO bellies. Walk around jiggling all everywhere. You ain't even got to slap the damn belly. The bitch just jiggle when you walk. Damn right. I got one. I'm like, God damn, I got a mini belly. GMO belly. I'm ready to shave that shit down. I haven't jumped on that treadmill in a minute, man. The moment I got that sucker, I jumped on that bitch 3 times, and I quit. I just didn't bother dealing with it anymore. It's just sitting there catching dust. And I need to knock the dust off and music. I just don't know when. Let's get to the next one, bro. Bruh. This ain't nothing new. But it's not like it's in your food, because it's in your medicine, it's in your water, all this shit. Man, these niggers need to come. This shit need to come to an end, bruh. Matter of fact, let me get a scripture. Cause damn, bruh. And you motherfuckers that's like, oh, the white man ain't so bad. What about the elite of these niggas that run all this industry? They fucking up the food, water, and the air. Goodness gracious, they are bad. Even Jimmy Dore, if he a heathen, you're bad too, bro. But you're kind of funny. Yeah, he might be a Jake. I don't know. But Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 3. I already read that one. But still, unwise king destroy of his people, though. All right. Because, yeah, you got Esau ruling the world, and especially over here in America. This nigga don't say, hey, I have to look out for my people I can't give them this poison because it's not right. My servants or my peasants will be unhealthy. I gotta look out for my servants so they can be able to build my kingdom, have a healthier body and mind and such. But no, it ain't happening. Fuck no, it ain't happening. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. And yeah, what else is mourning? Their stomachs. Goodness gracious, keep eating this shit. We're gonna have some bad guts, man. What's new on your bank account bill? I don't know what that about. I'll check that out later. But man, let's get to the next one. Let's see what he's talking about. Heat domes affecting food or farmers.
Howdy everyone. Welcome to Content Update 8. Hot.
The heat dome is a breaking point for already squeezed farms. Today, let's talk about the stacked deck that nobody's talking about. In case you haven't noticed, the sun is turning the heartland into a furnace. For a lot of family farms and ranches right now, this isn't just another hot week. This is another one of those weeks that decides whether or not the legacy stays in the family or gets sold off to pay the bills. While people in DC are talking about climate goals and long-term policy, the ranchers and farmers on the ground are watching their corn silk dry up, cattle stress out in real time, and already squeezed, very squeezed margins at this point in time are getting squeezed even tighter. Now I want to make something clear. Today we're not just talking about the weather, although it does stink. It's going to be 103 here today. We're talking about a triple threat that's going to be breaking the backs of farmers and ranchers across this country. This heat dome that we're going through is real, but the real story is what's hitting on top of the heat dome. Corn is in its most vulnerable window right now. And if you pay attention to anything that you eat, corn seems to be in everything, including your livestock feed. Corn is currently in its growth window of the 2-week period around what we call silking. When temperatures and humidity push too hard, this hard, silks begin to desiccate. And when that happens, pollen dies and the corn kernels literally abort. We're talking about measurable losses in the corn crop of 3 to 8%, literally within just days. Soybeans are also flowering and setting pods under these same heat pressures. Now, if you want to get into it, pastures in the southeast, like down where we are already rated poor to very poor. We were pretty dried up here. We finally got some rain. It wasn't enough to pull our soil out of drought mode. This heat is just turning everything brown again. I've kind of given up. We've been trying to reseed some of our pastures, and it's just coming up as weeds. We're not getting anything out of that seed that we put down several months ago. But what that translates into is earlier supplemental feeding this year, higher feed costs for all of us. And unfortunately, a lot of cattle operations, especially in these areas, can't take that kind of hit. Now, livestock are feeling these heat waves directly, and if you've watched this channel for several years, you probably remember several years ago when there were over 10,000 cattle deaths caused by a heat wave. What we see during these types of periods is reduced intake. That means they're not taking up as much feed. For the first time ever, I saw our bull just lying still under a tree the other day. I thought he was dead. I had to walk up on him. He doesn't like people, so that didn't go too well. With reduced intake, you have lower gains during this period. And like I said, in the worst cases, you have higher death loss. Make sure that you're changing your cow's water during these days. I know it's hot out there, guys, but those algae blooms can have a severe impact on these animals as they go for water. Keep it fresh. In places like Texas that are already battling the New World screwworm, this heat is landing on animals that are under a considerable amount of stress already. Water demand during these times is exploding, especially when competing uses are stepping in and taking water away from farms and ranches and agricultural uses at a staggering rate. You're hearing stuff about lakes around the country, the Great Salt Lake just drying up. These are things that are actually happening. Here on our farm, what I had to do for our pigs and for all of our other animals is I actually installed next to their waterers hoses that just turn on for 5 minutes every time the sun rises, every time the sun sets, just to create pools of water to help.
Oh, nasty niggas, they in the pool. And they drink in the pool. That's how pigs do. They probably pissing in that pool too. They pissing and bathing in the pool and drinking the pool. They're drinking the water. And you people eat that shit. Y'all eat these damn animals. I used to. And I'm like, fuck that shit.
Cool them off. Water's not just used for drinking. It's used to keep the animals.
He just laying in that bitch, living in hog heaven. He just oink, 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 pissing, shitting on in the water he laying in.
Alive. Guys, this is the physical reality.
He's just cooling, bro. He cooling.
On the ground. But it is.
He like he had a 5-star hotel. He getting 5-star treatment, laying in his own shit. Piss.
Not
you people eat this nigga.
Just heat. It's the fact that farmers and ranchers are fighting this heat while also paying record prices. Record prices for diesel, record prices for fertilizer. Mosquitoes. These are prices that never seem to come down after things like the Hormuz Strait disruptions. Oil's at the 70s, we're still paying well over.
Anyway, hey, This shit is affecting the farmers, you know, the people growing things, and even livestock, raising livestock. The plagues of the Lord kicking people's asses, especially farmers. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 verse start with 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt, talking about America, with plagues as before. And what happened before, ancient Egypt was hit with plagues, but this spiritual Egypt, modern day Egypt, America, is getting hit with the worst of the worst, more than what the ancient Egypt got hit with. And I will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, talking about America, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God Yahweh shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, from natural disasters, heat waves, all kind of stuff, even man-made disasters, and with a fearful consolation, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Next video.
Wednesday, July 1st was a deadline for the U.S. to signal a renewal of the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, and the U.S. chose not to. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Haley Bickelhop, and this move is not a surprise. Both the president and the vice president have hinted at this for weeks, and Michelle Rook is digging into the new path forward.
The USMCA agreement runs for 16 years and contains a 6-year review provision. Now, a deal on July 1st would have reset the clock to 2042, but just because the 3 countries did not agree to extend the deal doesn't mean it will lapse. It just now shifts to rolling annual talks for the next decade. Annual reviews of USMCA will continue until an agreement is reached in writing to extend it, or it expires in July of 2036.
It basically kicks the can down the road. We go month to month, year to year. But we've got the cloud hanging over the agreement, right? I mean, it would be a lot better for the countries to say, okay, let's lock it in for another 16 years, which is the time frame if they reach agreement. Then you've got 16 years of stability.
That stability comes from tariff-free trade, and Keel is confident the U.S. is not going to exit the deal because there's too much at stake.
Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I think there's virtually no chance that the U.S. would pull out of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. I mean, it's $1.8 trillion worth of trade between the 3 countries.
President Trump stated he wants to end USMCA because the U.S. can get a better deal, and there are sticking points farm groups would like to see improved upon.
I think there's some issues around the edges that we could work on, faster dispute settlement mechanisms being one of those. I think our southern farmers have some issues around seasonality. So I think all of those, our dairy farmers have issues with the access, the TRQ access that they've been provided.
Farm Bureau is part of a broad-based coalition that backs USMCA.
Everyone knowing how important this agreement is for our neighborhood to get something done. So we're actively working on it.
Keel predicts the countries will meet over the next 30 to 60 days and come to an agreement to permanently extend the treaty.
Bottom line is we're not on a cliff. This isn't a dramatic day, but...
Your ass is on a cliff. Shit. Bitch collapsing or whatever you want to call it. What is this about? Canada just handed its whole... to Asia? Oh, I ain't talking that. Fuck that shit. I'm talking about America. I ain't talking about Canada.
Don't want to see this uncertainty continue for another 6 months.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't even really pay no attention to what they were talking about in this video. But I'm pretty sure it sounds bad, especially if it's America tied in with this trade agreement or whatever the hell you call it. Anyway.
The countries need to roll up their sleeves, do their work, and get this thing moving forward.
Annual reviews are separate from a termination clause that any party could trigger to leave within 6 months. I'm Michelle Rook reporting for Ag Day.
Yo, if I see that news report of them talking about how more and more Americans are reporting food insecurity, I'm gonna fucking lose it. We have no money! How many times do we have to say it? How many ways do we have to say it?
Well, I'm on my way to the food bank. I go once every 2 weeks because I can't afford groceries. I mean, I have a decent job. I actually do, but I cannot afford groceries. And it's not...
A volunteer will put a...
Hagar chapter 1 verse 6, ye have so much and bring in a little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. And that's the point. But let me continue on. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. Yep.
Box of groceries in the back of my vehicle, and that's the end of it. I used to actually volunteer for this organization, sorting, handing out groceries, and then long COVID.
A struggle meal used to be the fallback. Now, it's the whole menu. Before the lines and the drive-thrus, listen to the people who've run out of quieter ways to say the same thing.
Yo, if I see that news report of them talking about how more and more Americans are reporting food insecurity, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
Just seen this bitch.
The USDA counted 47.9
must have did something wrong with the editing.
million people in food insecure households. That's more than California and New York combined. This is not a spike anymore. It's a flaw that keeps sinking, catching people who work steady jobs and still cannot cover groceries. The word inflation does the work of explaining it away. What it hides is that wages stopped reaching food, and the gap had to land somewhere. Watch where it lands next.
I'm going to a new food pantry this evening and I am really nervous. Let's review. I go by Allie. I am 48 years old. I have 30 years of experience and a master's degree in my field. I was laid off in October and I'm still looking for work. Let's do this. The food share I attend has several locations, and each on a different day of the week. I was thinking about going to a new to me one this evening. It's kind of a long drive. I'm a little nervous because I haven't been there before. It's unclear on the website whether it's a drive up or a walk up, and I just kind of feel like I'm scared and I don't want to. And that's exactly the reason why I'm going to do this. The reason I put my sort of journey out here publicly is to reduce the shame and stigma of going for help and to sort of like lower the squidginess barrier of being able to like be brave enough to go. So I'm putting on my big girl pants, getting in the car, and I'm driving out to the food pantry. I'm a mid-career professional with a master's degree. I was laid off from my job 8 months ago.
And not just that, you're an Edomite woman, right? You shouldn't have to struggle like this. You should have it made in the shade, sipping on Kool-Aid. Or better than that, real 100% lemonade. Fuck Kool-Aid, that shit there. Yeah.
So, come to the Drive Up Food Pantry with me. This food share is a food rescue. It's run by an organization called Community Solidarity, which is a spin-off of Food Not Bombs. These distributions are vegetarian groceries, produce mostly, sometimes.
And this is the line. It's literally like a fucking mile long. I'm gonna wait and see, and hopefully it's worth it. I'm never gonna turn down free food for our house, ever. And you shouldn't either. Yo, I literally just got in line not even 2 minutes ago. We're already almost at the front. That's the front. We're about to be there. That was so quick. I've been sitting here for like 15 minutes, and now we are moving up. I was given this little slip, and now we just drive over to the other parking lot. Let's go. Okay, we're pulling up, and so is everybody else. Okay, it's at like an old bank, and everybody's just like driving around and waiting in line again. She just took my information and wrote on my little slip, and now I'm just waiting. This line is actually moving really good. I've only been here for like 2 minutes. But I hope I get good stuff, and I hope it's not like expired or something and just like wasted my time.
Protein, please. Chicken breast or beef?
Chicken breast, please. Thank you.
Okay. Pancake breakfast at the church.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Good morning. We have a produce box with peaches and other vegetables.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
She gotta be a bitch about it. Yeah, Eve. Now see, she got an attitude. Her face tells it all.
Good morning.
Look at her.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, please. Thank you. I'm like, bitch, you about to get some fucking free food and you acting like you don't even want it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, bitch she don't appreciate it.
Good morning.
Eggs and milk are okay for you?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're all set?
Thank you. I'll skip on cereal today.
Oh man, my damn sound went out. I bet you that look fake as hell, that fake ass smile. She be like, y'all niggas hurry up and get my food so I can eat that shit up and come back the next day.
Thank you.
I have a choice of chickpea or the dry, and then everybody get macaroni.
Just macaroni, please. Hi, good morning.
Would you like fruit snacks?
Yes, please. I'll take the rice, please. Thank you. Thank you. You too. I'm so tired. First, we got our milk and eggs.
My local food bank asks that you don't come to a pickup.
She got all that food and she wanna have like a fucking attitude. That's what it look like. Shit.
Got more than 30 minutes early, so today we came 25.
Fuck you damn bitches up, man. Or you black women, you Latinos, and Native Indian bitches. And even you speckled bird bitches. They're acting all ungrateful and shit. Yeah, the Lord is about to fuck y'all up. And I don't even not just the women, but the men too. Shit.
Minutes early, and we're still 36th in line.
But I'm not speaking, when I say women, I ain't talking about all, I'm talking about, when I say women, I'm talking about the elect women. Because a lot of you damn Israelite females are not women, it's just females. But anyway, or say females. It's a bunch of fucking failures.
Let's see how long it takes and what we're given. We're here. It doesn't start for 20 more minutes. It looks like this distribution might be starting a little early. I see cars pulling up. We have not been checked in yet, but someone is coming around to all the cars. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Great. Only 4:55.
Look how street seem to be. She all thinking like, hey, how you doing? Hey, yay, I'm happy to be here. I'm thankful to get some food. Keisha like, thank you, come again. I mean, not thank you. Oh, I don't want no. I didn't want this. I didn't want this. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Fucking bitch.
And the first cars are already leaving. Every time I come to a food bank, I check in with my food bank ID card. And a question
she's just filming herself smiling, showing that she's thankful for what she's gotten. Eve like, whatever.
Get a lot is where do I apply for a food bank card?
No, bitch. I don't want no milk. Well, actually, I do want milk, bitch. Give me throw that milk in there.
And that is going to depend on your location and your local food bank. Because food banks are ran on a local community level, there is no national food bank card. I was given this card the first time that I ever came to a food bank.
After car, and they just wouldn't.
Like Northern Kingdom right here.
Stop, and I was like, it's too late now. Like they close off the whole street and like they redirect traffic and everything. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's worth it because they do all this. So we're gonna see what we get today. All right, yeah, so we made it. You see how they're loading the stuff into the cars. And I've got just a few cars ahead of me, but you see how they direct traffic and everything.
Oh, play us.
That's enough. I don't want to play no more. Let's get these last two out of the way. Yeah, food lines are still active. Oh, not food line. What you call them? What that shit called? The food banks. The drive-through food banks. Yeah, they still active. So them bitches won't be active no more.
Something unusual just happened in Washington, and it did not make front-page headlines the way you might expect. President Trump has declared...
You know what? That had another video related to food. Oh, yeah. Food stamps. I forgot about that. Let me come back to that video. Or, matter of fact, I'm just going ahead and play this on a different window or a different tab.
Miriam Flores is sacrificing a lot
Northern Kingdom
to keep her kids happy, not hungry.
I stopped eating myself so I could feed my children or...
Stop eating yourself? Aren't you biting up, eating up fingernails or something? Well, sooner or later, hey, people gonna be damn cutting a finger off and frying that bitch on a damn stove or pot or something, boiling it. And then gonna be a hand, then gonna be an arm of their own. Or either she gonna be, or some people gonna be, or either she gonna be eating her children, or hey man, this shit gonna get bad out here.
Or save food for someone who didn't have enough.
For the 42-year-old mom of 7, this community dining
what a man at? Oh.
Room run by the Society of St. Vincent de Paul in Phoenix has become a lifeline. She's one of nearly 500,000 Arizonans who lost SNAP benefits, also called food stamps, in the past year, according to data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That's roughly a 50% drop in enrollment, the steepest decline in all 50 states. That followed President Donald Trump signing H.R. 1, commonly known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, last year, which restricted who is eligible for benefits. Arizona was one of the first states to quickly roll out the new SNAP guidelines, and experts say it's been hard for the state to keep up with the changes. They also warn other states could soon see bigger drops in enrollment.
Yes, it's hard. There are nights of crying, nights of not sleeping. When I lose sleep at 2 a.m. doing the math. Deciding what to pay for and what to put off until later.
para después.
When I talked to Flores, she echoed what other SNAP recipients told Reuters for this story, that each day has become a struggle. She said she stopped receiving benefits in January, losing about $1,100 per month.
Simplemente paré
I just stopped. I stopped asking. I stopped applying.
de aplicar.
When I asked her why she stopped, she told me there are just too many hurdles. She said she cleans houses for work, and it's hard to manage hours on the phone when there are no results.
Y lo miró como una tortura.
I see it as torture.
Reuters couldn't independently establish Flores' benefit status. The White House said in part that, quote, President Trump is strengthening SNAP by ensuring these programs are sustainable for future
lies. Why? Yeah, they for the future generation of getting those microchip implants. Yeah, sustainable for it. Yeah, they setting these programs up so they set your ass so to get the chip implant. I don't know how to say it. I'll just get straight to the fucking point. Yeah, they setting this up for the damn chip for your ass to get the microchip implant. So then you could be really eligible to get these damn snaps and shit. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm just my words. I'm just jumping all over the place. But you get what I'm trying to say. Who did the Mass Patriot Front White Nationalist stage July 4th, March in D.C. Oh man, shit. That was some same niggas that was on the stage with Trump. Heck yeah. Wearing those Civil War looking get up shit. Yeah, them the same niggas. Yeah, let them niggas have their fun, man. This shit is about over for these damn crackers, boy. This shit is about over for these damn niggas. What is this about? Hundreds besiege French supermarket and scrambles for fresh the air conditioners. I didn't know they'll sell air conditioners at a damn supermarket. Or a grocery store. Well, that one does. Yeah, I guess it's like a Walmart version. I don't know.
Generations, adding that the president's mandate is to, quote, eliminate runaway spending across the federal government. The USDA
told what about that damn spending with those small hat niggers? You can start off with them.
Told Reuters that enrollment in food stamp benefits is down nationwide. They say that's due to several factors.
That's a damn lie.
Including work requirements.
A lot of these people they got on that's on that SNAP, there's a lot of them Edomites. Who is a lot of them damn Edomites got in the SNAP? Shit, yeah. They don't talk about that shit. They always show you blacks, Latinos, Native Indians that's on something like this. But what about you so-called white folks? There's a lot of y'all niggas on that shit, bruh. A lot of you.
Reforms and initiatives to expand access to employment services.
A lot of you niggas out there stealing food too. Shit. And y'all can afford this shit too. That's crazy.
Education and case management. Arizona's Department of Economic Security, which administers benefits in state, said it's working to minimize wait times for those seeking help. As more people lose food security in Arizona, resources are spreading thin across the state. According to data from the Arizona Food Bank Network, for the first time on record, the number of Arizonans visiting food banks exceeds the number receiving food stamps.
The problem is, not only did they lose their SNAP benefits, but they also don't have enough money to get gas to get here, to get the food that we have. So it's like a double whammy for them.
Cindy Bernardo is the Family Evening Program Manager at the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, where she helps families like Flores's.
They need to be seen as human beings, and the whole family needs to be taken into consideration.
Oh man.
At university?
Well, yeah, man, a lot of pain and suffering, bro. It's gonna be rough. You're gonna need the Lord. Well, you so-called black Latinos, Hispanics, Native Indians, Seminole Indians, you speckled birds, you seek the Lord, repent. It's gonna get rough out here. The Lord's gonna be throwing some combos. Some combos with some side pieces of destruction.
Declared a national emergency, not over oil, not over war, not even over semiconductors, but over fertilizer. Yes, fertilizer. And buried inside the decision is a warning signal about something far bigger, which is the fragility of America's food system, rising global supply chain instability, and a quiet crisis that could hit grocery prices in the month ahead. So what exactly happened? Why fertilizer? And why now? Let's break it down. On June the 29th, President Trump signed a presidential proclamation declaring a national emergency tied directly to America's fertilizer supply. side. The immediate action is very specific, which is the administration is suspending certain anti-dumping and countervailing duties on phosphate fertilizer imports from Morocco for up to 8 months or until the emergency is lifted. Now, the goal here is very, very simple, and it's an urgent one as well. The goal is to keep fertilizer flowing into the United States before the next planting cycle begins. Because if that doesn't happen, the next risk is not just higher prices, it's reduced harvests, tighter food supply, and potentially another wave of food inflation. So the White House made its position very clear. The position is fertilizer is no longer just an agricultural input, it is now a matter of national security. To understand why this matters, you have to understand what fertilizer actually does, and hear me out, I will make it very, very brief. Modern agriculture depends on 3 core nutrients. These 3 core nutrients are nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Phosphate fertilizer specifically provides phosphorus, which is essential for crop growth and yield. Without it, production falls sharply. So corn, wheat, soybeans, rice, cotton, fruits, vegetables, nearly everything in the American food system depends on stable phosphate availability. That's how important it is. And here is the critical timing issue. Farmers typically buy more than half of their annual phosphate fertilizer between fall and early spring. And so that means that supply disruptions right now don't just create price volatility, they threaten the next harvest cycle. So what triggered the emergency? That is the big question. According to the administration, it wasn't one single shock, it was a convergence of multiple shocks. First, global fertilizer supply chains have been disrupted by ongoing geopolitical conflicts, particularly in regions that are tied to production and export routes.
Canva Magic Layers can turn any flat image into an editable design.
I studied the 10 most powerful empires over the last 500 years, and the last 3 reserve.
Now here, I'm specifically referring to the US and Israel's war against Iran because it effectively halted shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, and I've reported on this multiple times here on my channel, so I will not be repeating myself. And the second producer, that is one of the top producers in the world, is Russia. Russia produces fertilizer and exports it to other countries. Now, the second reason for the national emergency situation is that several major producing countries have restricted exports or introduced trade barriers, which tighten global availability. I'm not going to go into greater detail here in this video, but if you are interested, let me know in the comments below, and I will cover this in greater detail over on my Substack and Patreon. Now, the third reason is shipping disruptions across key maritime routes have made fertilizer more expensive. Also, it made fertilizer shipments slower and less reliable to move. So put together, these pressures have pushed prices higher while making supply less predictable. And in Washington's assessment, the window to secure fertilizer before planting season was closing fast. Then, of course, comes the Morocco factor. And you would ask, well, why Morocco? We never practically hear about Morocco. Well, because beneath its soil sits one of the largest phosphate reserves in the entire world. Morocco is a dominant global exporter of phosphate fertilizer, and crucially, it remains one of the few stable suppliers still available to ship to the United States. So the policy response is straightforward, which is to temporarily remove tariffs and trade duties on Moroccan phosphate that is imported to the United States with the goal to accelerate supply and to lower costs. It is not a long-term solution, it is a pressure valve, and this is a short-term solution to address the rise in fertilizer prices and the impact that supply chain disruptions have on the food security in the United States. But on the other side, this raises a bigger structural question. If fertilizer is this important, why can't the United States simply produce more of it domestically? I'm sure many of you question that. Well, the answer is capacity and time. The United States does produce phosphate fertilizer, but not enough to fully meet its domestic demand when exports and industrial needs are taken into account. And scaling up production is not something that happens quickly. We don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the investment, we don't have the tax structure to reward producers here domestically. So practically, we are not ready to scale up our domestic production. New mining operations are needed. We are going to need processing plants and chemical facilities. Those take years of investment. They take years to obtain permits. And of course, construction requires a long period of time before these facilities become operational. So in the short term, imports are not optional, they are essential. The immediate impact of the emergency declaration is expected to be felt first by American farmers. Lower import costs could reduce fertilizer prices by an estimated 22%, which will ease one of the most significant input pressures in agriculture. That matters because farming margins are already very tight, and fertilizer is one of the largest recurring costs in crop production. But the ripple effects extend even further. If fertilizer becomes more stable and affordable, it supports higher crop yields in the next growing season. Higher yields reduce the risk of supply shortages, and that feeds directly into one of the most politically sensitive issues in the US economy, which is food inflation. Because even if consumers don't see immediate price drops at the supermarket, fertilizer costs eventually show up in food prices with a delay. So they will show up, but there's going to be a delay, which is quite quite normal in the economic cycle, as you know. There's also a geopolitical layer here that cannot be ignored, and I want to quickly touch upon certain factors in this area. So the declaration is not just about agriculture, of course, it is about resilience. In recent years, global supply chains have been repeatedly disrupted. Let's mention energy markets, semiconductor shortages, rare earth dependencies, and now fertilizers. So the pattern is becoming very, very clear. Commodities that were once treated as purely commercial are now being reclassified as strategic assets, and governments are responding accordingly. That is why this move is being framed not just as economic policy, but as national security policy, because if fertilizer supply breaks down, it doesn't just mean higher prices, it means lower yields. Lower yields, of course, lead to tighter food supply, and tighter food supply can translate into inflation, instability, food shortages, and of course, political pressure.
Just like famine.
So in that
Famine of bread.
tax fertilizer becomes far more than an agricultural input. It becomes a foundational pillar of national security and stability, arguably, as well. The emergency declaration lasts 8 months, and it is designed as a bridge, not as a permanent fix, as I mentioned briefly. So we should expect, ideally, domestic production to gradually expand during the next 8 months. But the uncertainty, of course, remains, and we have to be honest and open about it. If global disruptions continue, if the United States and Israel restart their war against Iran, then this is going to be just the first of several such interventions that the White House will need to consider. And of course, there is a bigger takeaway as well. We are entering an era where supply chains are no longer assumed to be stable, where food security is no longer separate from geopolitics, and where even something as unglamorous, if you will, as fertilizer can become a trigger point for national emergency declaration. Because the next major shock to the global economy may not start with oil, it may not start with banking or with a new war. It may actually start with a fertilizer shortage, something like that, something as simple as that. And what happens to it next, of course, determines everything that follows. So if you found this quick breakdown useful, subscribe for more.
Oh yeah. Second Acts chapter 16 verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth, including America. I mean, yeah, because it's not gonna just be in America, but all over the world. But I'm just speaking of America right now. But it's gonna be all over the earth. But anyway, upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So it's better just to get killed by the sword than dying slow, painful death of famine or starvation. Because the sword kill you quicker, man. Sometimes you bleed out slow. Depends on how the Lord wanted it to be. It'll be judgment. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, like doo-doo, shit. Yeah. And there shall be no man to comfort them. Cause nobody ain't gonna give a fuck about you. They will love many waxing cold. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth. Yeah, because a lot of your farmers are damn killing themselves because they gone bankrupt and can't afford shit. They lost the land, they lost the equipment, they lost everything. Yep. And yeah, it's getting bad out here. Better seek the Lord. Let me read that again. There shall be no man left to till the earth or to sow it. So there ain't gonna be no farmers from globally and including America. Yeah. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? Ain't nobody picking shit. A lot of people that's picking been deported, or either thrown in a meat grinder machine or something. And they probably got killed off or locked up in the ICE detention center. And some of them running for their lives. They hide, ducking, and dodging. Goddamn, Manny Alvarez, he died down. He on the run from ICE agents. All he want to do is make a living and try to make a come up. Have a life in America, which is gonna be destroyed living in this bitch. Anyway, the grapes shall reaping, and who shall tread them? Who gonna get them? Now, for all places shall be desolate of men, and ain't gonna be no men, no farmland, or nobody ain't gonna be out picking and or how they say treading. And whatever. Nobody's not gonna be out there dealing with the food, processing it, picking it, none of that shit, packaging it, none of that shit. No, because why? Because the Lord is breaking the staff of bread, so that no one shall. Hold on, let me start over. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. But like I said, the Lord is Plaguing y'all with the famine. Let me get this. Let me go ahead and read this. Man, I'm tired. Goddamn son. I was gonna do 4 yards. That shit turned into 2 yards. And the reason why, cause what happened was my battery went. Shit, I just bought a battery last week from Walmart, and that sucker went back. That shit went bad. I was like, goodness gracious, so I had to get another one. I don't know what this one gonna do. Cause the one I got, that shit went bad on me, man. I was like, damn. That shit was acting like the my John Deere battery. And I do not want to buy no John Deere battery. Spend $100 for a fucking lawnmower battery. Hell no. And that I had bought one from them, and that shit ain't last for like a month or two. Heck yeah. I'm like, these niggas are making these batteries shitty, man. Let me get to let me get this. I forgot how you pronounce it. Ezekiel chapter 5 verse 16. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction. Yeah, and the Lord is be Yahweh by Shema Shah, the word called God and Jebus. But it's Yahweh and Yahweh Shah, they're bringing this destruction, bringing this famine, they're bringing all these plagues to y'all doorstep, and they kicking in that motherfucker. Heck yeah, and y'all people are like, the God I know don't do nothing like that. Well, guess what? Listen to this guy that you ignorantly call God and Jebus. Listen what he doing. This is Yahweh Shah. Shit. Let me start over. When I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction. Who is the Lord sending destruction to? The 2/3 of Israel and to you heathens. That you damn 2/3 Israel, you 2/3 Israelite niggas want to save so damn bad. Well, guess what? You gonna die with them motherfuckers. And which I will send to destroy you. And I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. So the Lord's breaking the staff of bread when it comes to delivery, packaging. I'm just going in a different order, or whatever, random order, but growing, processing, taking care of the animals. They chop them up and turn them into meat, food or something. Yeah, the Lord is breaking all that shit down. And also pestilence added to it. Yeah, with the damn the parasites that make you shit a lot or throw up a lot. Yeah, the Lord's throwing the extra little parasites in your food. Man, last video.
Emergency. Now it's.
Let me start right there.
The United States government has declared a food supply emergency. Now, it's not because of a hurricane or a drought that wiped out farmland. It's because officials are finally worried about the fertilizer crisis. Let that sink in for a second and share this with everyone. Most people don't understand why this matters, and it might already be too late. The first thing people need to understand, food shortages don't begin at the grocery store. This one began in February, far away from the shelves at a shipping lane halfway around the world, and it still isn't fully open. Fertilizer is one of the most important parts of modern agriculture. Without it, yields drop. Less production means less supply. Less supply means higher prices, and if the disruption continues long enough, shortages become a real possibility. What's concerning is that this isn't the first warning we've seen. Over the last several years, we've watched supply chains break down, food prices surge, livestock diseases spread, and transportation systems struggle. Now the government is taking emergency action to protect fertilizer supplies. I'm not saying panic. I'm saying you need to pay attention.
And you need to pray like heaven to Yahweh by Shema Shah for strength and mercy.
Every major shortage
repent.
With a problem somewhere upstream most people never get to see. The food system depends on fertilizer, fuel, transportation, electricity, warehouses, thousands of moving parts working together every single day. The first sign of a food shortage isn't an empty shelf. It's a government warning that something critical to food production is under stress. And that warning just happened.
Donald Trump has declared...
Oh, yeah. Well, they're declaring something about fertilizer. What about the 4 weeks of oil reserves? That's going to affect the food. But yeah, and also your energy. Yeah, that's pretty much, it takes energy to grow all this shit. Yeah, process it, deliver it.
Essentially a food supply emergency, and has lifted all tariffs and duties on phosphate fertilizer coming in from Morocco.
Oh, for real? Now they want to do that.
This news isn't being widely reported, but it's significant. Due to the war in Iran, tariffs, other trade practices, and more, the United States food supply was potentially at risk given the fact that the United States is not producing enough fertilizer. And so this week, the Trump administration signed a declaration lifting all levies.
Oh, now they want to do it at the last moment. I mean, if it's even real, but let me read some. Because now they want to now they want to do something at the last moment. But yo, it's too late. It's too late, bruh. Boy, y'all are stupid. But hey, it's the Lord that's doing it. But still, you niggas are still stupid. Yeah, the Lord making you niggas do it. But you niggas still are stupid. Jeremiah chapter 49 verse 7, concerning Edom, thou said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Nope. Is counsel perish from the prudent? Yes. Is their wisdom vanished? Yes. Stupid.
And tariffs on Moroccan phosphate fertilizer for a period of up to 8 months. And in that declaration, the president admitted that the United States isn't producing enough fertilizer and American companies simply can't do it fast enough at this time. And so as a result, we're now going to start importing fertilizer from Morocco without any duties, without any taxes, tariffs, any of that. It's a pretty significant development that not many people are talking about.
Donald Trump and the White House have declared an emergency with regards to fertilizer and our ability to produce food here in the United States. A part of this declaration of emergency was a lifting of tariffs and additional duties on fertilizer being imported from Morocco. And a part of this official declaration is acknowledging that the United States production of phosphate fertilizer is insufficient to support domestic agricultural food production after accounting for exports. Additionally, the White House has announced that it is going to issue $500 million in funding to expand U.S. domestic fertilizer production, which is unfortunately like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound at this point. Because in 2025 alone, there were over 300 farm bankruptcies, a nearly 50% increase from the year before. Additionally, American farmers are facing issues with labor shortages, in addition to extreme weather patterns leading to crop failures across the country from out west to the northeast and all across the American South. Things really aren't looking good for the future of American agriculture, especially if the war in Iran continues.
Yeah. That's why, hey man, we have someone to lean to and call on for help, protection, mercy, strength. Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, deliverance. Call on them for deliverance. We just, I don't know how to say it, but pray like heaven, Lord, have mercy and give us those things. Yeah. Because, man, it's going to get bad out here. Man, that's why the prophets constantly starting with GMS, Great Millstone, telling you Israelites, hey, seek the Lord by seeking the prophets and take heed to what to say and try to build a spiritual mental relationship with Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah. By praying Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, praising Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, worshiping Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, fearing Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, repenting to Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah. To all the men out there pushing His truth and none but the truth in the name, spirit, and the power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah. Keep on preaching, keep on teaching, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, stay humble. And to you few sisters out there taking heed, keep your faith and trust strong. Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, stay humble, stay in order. But your man, if you ain't got no man, stay in order. Stay in order. Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah. Peace and bless to the hopeful elect and all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.